Good day? I don't know if it's afternoon or not yet, maybe. It's not that I'm distracted today. I just can't get comfortable. Can't get settled. And I've been craving pepperoni pizza for the last couple of weeks, so it caved. We came out here to this parking spot, at least where the sky is big and distractions are limited. There might be traffic in the background. But all morning I have just been feeling so heavy. And I'm not sure whose heaviness it is. Maybe mine, maybe yours, maybe everything. There was the, full moon lunar eclipse. Happened yesterday, this morning. We're in this, week-long portal energy where the moon is also at its climax. So it's super close. Did I see that the moon was in Pisces? My moon is in Pisces. So it's just emotional. This one is the Tower. Some of these hats, I'm going to pull out a couple and then we'll start typing in. If you jump on and you have questions, please feel free to ask. I'll do my best to keep up with the comments or reach out to me for private readings. And pardon the traffic noise. The magician is upright. Maybe we'll look at him too. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole because I'm in this rabbit hole. We'll look at this one too. 2, 3, 4. Let's pull one more out of here. Then I'll kind of dive into oracle cards to try and figure out what the heck is going on. New starts. But wanting to create new starts out of all these things, like there's overwhelm. Okay, we'll start here then. We'll start with our 2 of peppermills. Yes, down the rabbit hole we go. I don't think there's going to be any coming up for air anytime soon, because once we go into this, it's difficult to come back out, or you can't come back out unchanged. So there's no sense in trying to keep everything the same. 2, a man set apart, often a ruler, courage to face and contemplate the world, great riches and magnificent stature, not appreciated. Reversed, it's also great sadness. But I don't want people to get caught up in that great sadness and that depth. There's something about it, though. We go into these isolated depths to explore these things so that we can have a greater depth of understanding. Lessons learned, I guess, huh? Because there's not a loss of faith. But material things, things as they aren't, things aren't what they seem. They're not what they mean. And people get really caught up in materialization or the material aspects of the world. We live in a token economy. We talked a little bit about that here and there. So token economy doesn't necessarily imply a monetary exchange, but economic forces can go through these token exchanges. Or look at how you can trade for things. That might be a little bit. Well, what do you want? It depends on what you want, because the hard work doesn't equal the monetary payoff. I think we're learning, a lot of people are learning that. don't know that. 9 peppermills. Waiting for a fight, a mental standoff, a deterrent to enemy attack, prepared for any difficulties, a pause in an ongoing battle, order and discipline. This way, calamity or ill health, being caught by surprise, a wall of adversity, long delay, unhappiness, sadness. Well, it's the moon. Moon is emotions, and we've got this intense moon that is bringing up all of these things for us to feel. And if we look around us in the world, there's a lot of discontented nature. So it's not like it's just you or us. It's designed that way. Product equals happiness. People think they can buy happiness, right? They think they can purchase it in a lot of different ways or exchange. Like, happiness is a thing, but we know that's not true. We know happiness comes from within. And then if it takes shit to make bliss, right? Like, you can't have beauty without the pain. You can't have one without the other. But why are you so caught up in having to be happy all the time? Why are you so caught up in this having to always put on this air of positivity? You know, being anything other than that is so, like, socially disregarded. Let's look at this hat, this guy here. Because there's a lot of options, maybe a lot of opportunities. We kind of just have to sit with it, and you have to feel it. That's Major Arcana. We'll come back to that. 7 hats. There are 7 hats with themes of dreams and nightmares, and the querent will choose among them. The first holds a maiden, the second holds an unknown spirit, and the third holds a serpent. The fourth holds a castle of riches, the fifth holds the demon of hell, the sixth holds jewels of wealth, and the seventh holds the crown. A goal with insight, desires, a dream fulfilled but unrecognized. Do you want to resolve a conflict, for one? Is there something being fueled? Are you fueling yourself off of some sort of conflict or a fight? Some of that might be fight or flight mode. Hence the sadness, or having strong repercussions for things said, done. That realm of accountability can be a little bit tricky. Something about choice again, like, do we choose? Or if there's a block of information, is that block limited to your choices? And your choices are going to be whittled down to anything inside of your containment box, but your archetypal box, your conceptual box is what I'm looking for. If you don't have a concept for it, you can't make a choice, right? And so you have to open yourself up to choices or things being bigger, better than anything you can possibly imagine it for yourself. That's the theme that keeps popping up here. Not limiting your belief systems, because limited belief systems are going to infuse your choices. We're gonna just kind of keep trucking forward. Again, you can ask questions. You can hold a question in mind too, but I think a lot of people come to this space because they're in that uncertain flex realm of, okay, well, now what? I'm feeling all of these feelings and I don't know what to do with these feelings. It's energy. This started out with a 2, so maybe we'll reflect on this also. This card depicts 2 events, this or that. The first is Alice grabbing at air and the rabbit falling into the cumber frame, which is a small greenhouse as a result. The second event is Bill falling after Alice has kicked him out of the chimney. Both creatures are extremely ruffled by the unexpected turn of events. The white rabbit thought that Alice was Marianne, his maid, and therefore felt he could order her about. Alice got her revenge when she grew to mammoth proportions, and the rabbit was forced to change his position in the world after giant Alice made shambles of his house. Rapid change, failure of events to go as expected, beliefs don't live up to their promises, anything unforeseen with a negative implication, good friends turned bad, loss of money, security, or love, setbacks, disaster, insanity, disruption, the end of grace. The opposite side of it is too much stability, continuation of the old in bad ways, sloth, a bad situation that won't change, or imprisonment. Things being forced to change. The Magician here. I don't want to go into that, oh, it changes what you make of it. Oftentimes we can do everything we can choose all the right things, but still the consequences are going to be foreboding, or the consequences are going to be outside of our choices. The Magician is Carol himself pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Repetitions of 4 suits. Represents the fantasy world. The things where, a world where anything can be what you want it to be. Creator, creative soul, craftiness. Strong will. Seeing things done completely, influence, having a complete picture. What we cultivate conscious co-creative communities, or we cultivate creativity, conscious creativity. What does cultivating conscious creativity look like when we don't even know what consciousness is? There's a lot of resistance, or probably ego, air of ego. This guy is showing up here for us. He's 5 hats. It's traditionally cups, emotions, partial loss, seeing the broken, ignoring the whole, friendship without devotion again, marriage without love, that which could be perfect yet isn't, an incomplete view of the world and of people. It's like living in this false reality, or living in this fantasy land where you think you have control, or everything you think you have control over is truth in reality, but because of these grand losses, or because of these things, things are forcing you to look at things differently, feel differently, like do things completely differently, because it's not about what you want, it's not your choices. Your choices are going to be muffled, baffled by conditioning. What is being offered to you, or the opportunity that is being offered to you, is an emotional opportunity, or something more in alignment with emotional fulfillment. something above the material world is what it starts out with here. So something beyond the material world. So if there's material loss, friends, family, things, items, jobs, any of it, out with the old, in with the new, kind of a thing. Spirit of the universe, happy home, beauty, pleasure, something beyond the veil of the tarot. A revolution of feelings kind of comes through here too. Maybe that's something we can kind of focus on, is how to revolutionize our feelings, or to have this sort of revolution based around feelings, because everything has been so logic bound for so long. Oh, finally that like kind of background motor stopped. A little bit more peace and quiet, or at least some of that kind of like gray noise. You can't find the answers here. You have to find the answers through experiencing it. It's a feeling. You can't necessarily feel something vicariously and expect to get the same results. I'm pulling out from the Art Oracle. I'm gonna look into some of this creative stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it matters, but it doesn't matter. All this material stuff that people get so caught up in, but it shifts and it changes, and that ethereal, spiritual, that's all consuming. That's that energetic component, and that energetic component, energy is emotions. If we are energetic conduits, or the salt batteries where we channel in energy, feelings, right? We interpret that energy as emotion, or through emotion. So those emotions are really important. They're trying to tell us something about our environment, or how our environment relates to our internal experience. Skeptic, heal thyself. Discipline is both a noun and a verb. Discipline again is coming up. Marina Abramovic. She comes through a lot. She's intense. I've gotten to see her in New York at MoMA for the Artist is Present. That was pretty intense. Just being in that same space. Discipline is a noun and a verb. Invite discipline in and take action. When a stranger stares into your soul, do not press charges. Stare back. If there's one thing that I've noticed about this realm of transformation, or guiding people to these rabbit holes of set or whatever, oftentimes in this space, or even kind of outside of the context of this space, showing people things or telling people things, bringing things directly outside of that, like material frou-frou, has a tendency to make people really uncomfortable. Yeah, like, I get a lot of people that want to turn things around, or like make it a thing, or make it something about them when it's not. Like something about the intensity of mirroring, or of looking into the truth. I guess, like, if somebody's telling you something that makes you uncomfortable, don't get mad at them. If somebody is giving you some sort of feedback, and it's not that fluffy, frou-frou, like, feel-good stuff, like, lighten the up, right? And take the feedback without coming at the person who's providing that feedback to you. It's not a personal attack. It shouldn't be this, like, character assassination ordeal. It doesn't make any sense to me, but people get really caught up in these illusions of the material world, and they don't want these tower things to come crashing down around them. So they stand very on guard. Do I want to look at the book here for Marina? I mean, there might be something here. There's a gentle tension, there's a trust. Something of like putting yourself in these uncomfortable positions. And this is from an art series. I mean, one of the art shows, it's her and her lover man, and he's on the other end of this bow and arrow, and he's holding it taut. And there's this tension between them where if there's a slippage, right, something can be very catastrophic. And I think understanding where you put your power, or where you give that power, where you give that trust, this is kind of important to answering your question. I will be at the generator tomorrow for Third Thursdays live. I'll have cards with me, but I will be present for readings. I'm bringing out chalk pastels to draw the whatever energy field, but if you're called to go a little bit deeper into something specific, you can find me in person tomorrow. You can always reach out to me too for private readings, please do. She talks about, okay, so discipline in here too. Her works in which she punished her mind and body, demonstrating composure and discipline in the face of whips, knives, flames, uppers, downers, carbon monoxides, poisonings. Brahmavik considers energy in the absence of stimulation. Your discipline is not in recreating something that has already been done. I feel like I've seen this a lot maybe in the last week, especially with the Reno Tahoe International Art Show and being surrounded by art. Let me put it. It's very easy to recreate something that has already been done in your own style as a means of garnering attention. When you create something or do something that has never been done before, that people have never seen before, it makes people uncomfortable. Okay, Francisco Goya. We'll bring Goya into this. In case of emergency, locate your nearest exile. It's okay to separate yourself and be independent from, and to be on your own in this. There's a lot of inversions, perhaps, because if we're co-creating collective, conscious creativity, there's a lot to be said about doing the internal work and reflecting on yourself and working on yourself to be the best version of you in order, instead of trying to fix other people. A good caricature is no exaggeration. Does that mean a bad caricature is great exaggeration? What points are you exaggerating and why? What are you emphasizing? Or if there's a point that is emphasized and exaggerated, what is that about? The sky is so beautiful right now. The clouds are amazing in northern Nevada this time of year. Sunsets especially. That could be part of it too, is just season shifting, things kind of going in a different way. Truth takes shape in the shadows. I like that part because people want to run from the shadows. They want to run from the dark stuff. They want to run from the scary stuff. But that's not where truth is. Truth is in all of the things. It's all encompassing. It's in these harder things. And we live in this realm of perfect positivity because people want to delude themselves and they want to uphold this illusion that things are great or that happiness can be bought, can be purchased. Happiness can be given. But again, it's an energetic thing. And so if material things are making you happy and you're putting your happy energy into these things and those things are going out into the world and that energy is being I don't know if dissipated is the word, but I want to, if committed, stay committed. That's that path of transformation and doing the uncomfortable things. Something very difficult has happened and you have to work your way through it. Commit yourself to going through that process and experiencing the darker stuff, to learning and seeking out the truth. Van Gogh, I think, came up for us, and one of the last times we did this too. Posthumous recognition requires a paper trail. Just write it down. Write it down. Journaling is so effective in so many different ways, but to look for the truth, especially in emotional situations, write it down, because you can go back to it and reflect on it. The emotions are going to alter things and alter the memory, and it's not going to be as reliable for you. Use the daylight to face the night, right? So truth takes shape in the shadows. I mean, if you're going to go into the depths, if you're going to go into the darkness, if you're going to go down these rabbit holes, take a flashlight with you or something. Take light with, like, you don't, I mean, you can trip and fall and tumble into this thing, but we do create our own lights from within as well. That's where this magician comes into play. Sometimes, as she's talking about here, Alice in her expansive nature, when she grows, she outgrows the things that are around her. These things that thought she was once something are afraid because now they are in the shadows of something, but what it is that they fear is just the dismantling of the illusions that they once had. Now it's that like sudden realization of like you thought you knew everything that was going on, and then all of a sudden this truth is presented to you in such a way, and like the whole world comes crashing and crumbling down around you, and everything you thought you know, it just isn't. And then from there you have to completely recreate and restructure new belief systems and new ways of perceiving the world. And that can be very daunting and very intimidating for a lot of people because they get so attached to that illusion that they want to uphold. Look directly at whatever you're holding. Thank you, Diane Arbus. Look directly at whatever you're avoiding. That's that stuff in the shadows, and the dark stuff, and all that stuff that you don't want to look for. That you don't want to look like. So if it's something that you don't want to look like, check your assumptions and check your judgments, because again, you're putting these material conflicting constraints onto something that is only attributed the meaning that you give it based on the context of the words that you generate. The bullseye is always in the margins. You gotta be able to look outside of the marks. It's like in school when you're taught you have to write within these lines, and I've seen people like get so caught up in having to stay in these lines, and if they break outside of it, like that panic ensues. And for whatever reasons, people get so caught up into, again, upholding these systems. Listen when a city tells its secrets. There's... It's... Okay. It's the corrupted nature that goes into creating and upholding these societies, or upholding these, let's call them systems, that aim to foster the delusions let me go kind of back into Alice in Wonderland over here. You can do things differently. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just going to be the end of the way that you perceive the world. And once you know something, you can't unknow it. You become responsible for it. Therefore, a lot of people don't want to know certain things because then they'd have to be responsible for it. I'm going to shuffle through these. Law is not justice. That one's right on top. We talked about that one a little bit last time. Law is not justice. For whatever reason, like the law of gravity is coming to mind. Maybe because the Tower card is here. Or like, it is because it is. English is so limiting in so many different ways. But those dark things will come out. They are there. They will be exposed. They might be looking like something else. A moment's regret, nostalgia, idealizing the past, and fearing you've made a mistake. Like this morning, it was so hard to jump in this space. Like I had to leave the house to get into this space. And I kept having this feeling of what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? What happened? What went astray? What could I have done different? I don't know that there's regret in there. Not personally, maybe for you. Nostalgia, idealizing. But again, that knowing, like, I didn't do anything wrong. Could I have done anything differently? Could I have done anything? No, I don't know that I could. And I've had this realization a couple of times over the last few years, and like really contemplating choice and purpose and reasons, and just that feeling of, if I would have gone back in my life at any point in time and I would have made any sort of different decision, I still would have ended up at that same, or at this same point, place in time, for whatever reason. So maybe we'll look whatever that is, or maybe we need to process or give homage to things that are lost or forgotten. I don't know. Let's shuffle. Let's take a couple more here. Thanks for jumping on. If you have questions, you can ask. It is kind of like a kind of a day. Oof, really, just like, what do we have? We have 4 of them here. Do you want these ones? Follow your own good advice. Trust yourself. You know what is best for you. Okay, like again, you're not gonna get the answer here. I can guide you. I can steer you. I can give you tools. I can push you into the rabbit hole. You know, but I'm not gonna be the one experiencing the free fall. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. Until I feel here in this space now. I feel free. But I had to, like, flee the cage. There's so many distractions. So many distractions. Material distractions and limitations. I don't know. Lead the way, be a leader, show others how it's done. You can help others, right? That's just you helping yourself doing the things. I know what works for me. If I listen and it's the thing of like, hey, go get the pizza, just whatever, okay, fine. Allow it to happen, listen to the things, allow yourself to show up in the spaces and feel the feelings that it takes to do the things, okay? Investigate, look closely, ask questions, think before acting. That's that conscious part. I don't want to read all of these because otherwise we're going to be here all day, but let's look at investigate. Because if there's something bugging you, and you're trying to avoid it and not look at it and push it away or pretend like it's not there or put the fluffy frou-frou over the top of it to make it something that it's not, don't do that. Okay, we're going to investigate. Get curious about what it is and go looking in the dark places. Go exploring. Go figure it out. Go outside of the boundaries and go look. There's not, like, nothing bad can happen to you in that space that can't happen to you in the space that you're currently in. You've just gotten used to your environment. You've adapted to things and you've put on the narrow blinders. Invigorate kind of comes to mind with investigate. It's a 7. It's a holistic number. Look closely, ask questions, think before acting. No, I'll look first. Don't make up your mind. Just go look, go explore, get curious, and figure it out. Too many people blindly follow others, and in many situations we can find it easier to go with the flow, to trust in other people, and even to follow orders. Yeah, because there's no accountability there. There's no responsibility there. You can do because everybody else does, and then what? Right? But Alice does not do this, not until she has thought it through for herself. She may be impetuous, adventurous, and curious, but she is also sensible, cautious, and inquiring. Alice remembers the good, common-sense advice she has learned through hearing stories of others' mishaps, and right now you must be like Alice. Check something carefully before going ahead. You're being encouraged to take a daring new path of action while everything else is mostly likely well. You still need to take responsibility and remember to be your own guardian and caretaker. Ask questions, like look at the fine details, the little things. If you find there's nothing alarming or hidden about the arrangement, okay, go ahead. Do not follow orders blindly. Just do what you're told. Be prepared for unexpected changes when you sign, start, connect, or decide to advance. preparing for the unpredictable. How can you prepare for the unpredictable? No, not really. You just have to accept that the unpredictable is going to happen and be okay with that. Right. Find out as much as you can. Let's look at from the inversion side. Rushing ahead without checking, being reckless, and even arrogantly thinking you know best. Okay, refusing to learn from experience, being overly trusting that this time it will be okay, doing what you're told without using your own wits and intelligence. This, have courage to use your own reason, comes from Kant's philosophy of enlightenment. It takes courage to use your own reason, and your own reason comes out of your emotional experiences about something, informing you to these things. Never jam today. Promises that never come to be, empty words, not living in the now. Nonsense, it's time to talk sense. Your words are really important. There's a lot in here about finishing things that need to be finished. Okay, I am gonna put the intention for myself on that one today. I'm just finishing some things that need to be finished for tomorrow. That can be done. Looking into the darker spaces, the uncomfortable spaces. It's not like things are gonna get any easier. Especially systemically, things are going to complicate more. That's not a bad thing. But how do we want to participate, or how much do we want to be involved? Or there's something here too about the, how do we want to say, the corruptedness of the city, or the corruptedness of the structures that uphold things. Learning certain things about certain people or places. I'll come back to that one because I think there's still sifting through a lot there. This probably is not the appropriate context for it. I want to say that the context and the place and things that you do things is kind of important, but there's this other part of me that wants things to be shaken up a bit, where I guess if you can ground yourself in it initially, into that basis, to speak up kind of impulsively in the moment without it being like an impulsive thought, but like the educated thought of, okay, this is there, but usually I bite my tongue, but this time I'm gonna the truth. Just speak the truth when the opportunity to speak the truth arises. And when is that opportunity? When the truth is right in front of you. Acknowledge it, call it out. It's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but it's going to make things move a lot smoother for you. Things will clarify that way, because the people and the things and the circumstances who aren't in alignment with that truth are going to fall out or fall away. And it can come across as a little disorienting maybe. But it's part of the process. Ace of Peppermill says a lot kind of about this Peppermill energy. Right? We have these opportunities that are being handed to you. And again, I like the concept a lot of things being divinely inspired, or having a higher purpose, or being connected to spirituality. we limit a lot in this realm to food and sex. If you're looking at basic reinforcers, but what about that tertiary? What about that third component? What about that spiritual aspect that is embedded into our genetics, that is just embedded to the essence, the energetic essence of all that is life and living? This is going to be weird to listen back to, I think, later. It's okay. The beginning of all things. Life, love, family, business, the start of a new adventure, a meaningful experience, inheritance and fortune, home. The other side of this one is ruination, a senseless delay or cancellation before beginning, anger, unfulfilled dreams, decadence, and meaningless existence. Do you think you can buy things to be happy? You're not going to be happy. Home is where the heart is. Let's look at this Knight of Flamingos. Well, hang on. Peppermills. Suit of battle against very long odds and very heavy burdens. There's a lot that we've been working through over the years, right? There's a lot of circumstances that are saying, no, you can't do this or have this or be that. Yet here we are standing at this precipice of choosing either this or that. We can keep things the same. We can do things the same that we've always done them. We can play into the system the way that it's, been playing out. Or we can allow things to fall. We can outgrow our containers. We can push through the barriers. We can go beyond all the things that we think that we know to create something for ourselves that is much stronger, much bigger. But I don't know, I think there's still a lot of people that are really caught up in this fame, fortune kind of thing, or wanting recognition for the wrong reasons, or wanting financial stability or fortunes for the wrong reasons. Wrong reasons meaning things that are in alignment with this material thing, not necessarily in alignment with higher purpose or something more spiritual. I don't want to get too woo-woo. You can find places for that. We can, there are definitely those sort of things out there, if that's more your cup of tea. But just because you put paint on something doesn't mean that it's gold. Right? Flamingos, this is like battles too. Are we feeling so heavy and so sad this morning because we're battling something that we just can't overcome? Or are you trying to fight the system from within the system and then finding that the system is beating you because it wants you to fight it? So then, therefore, how do you create something new outside of that system? Just got really tired. Again, just a woof energy in that wall of heavy burdened angst. I think about the rat race, I guess, or maybe just kind of the energies around me of people feeding the beast. And that's sad because you could stop feeding it, but your next door neighbor's feeding it. You gotta keep a roof over your head. There's not something that exist outside of it, yet that is safe enough to sustain. It exists solely in concept, yet needs to exist there before it can manifest into reality. Night of Flamingos, rushing without fear into the unknown, bloodlust. This card magnifies other cards dealing with death. The cards of wisdom indicates foolishness or opposition, heroism. No, you don't want to go rushing into danger. That's stupid. Think about what you're doing first. Dispute over a person of the opposite sex. Naivety, physical, mental, or spiritual incapacity. Patience pays. Wait, good things will come. Consolidate, concentrate, just be you. I don't really have anything to smudge with me except for tobacco at the moment. I feel like we need to smudge some stuff here. I don't want to tell you that you're being a ding-dong. But you're kind of being a ding-dong here. I'm gonna pull another one. Patience pays, wait, good things will come. Consolidate, concentrate, just be you. I don't want to look at Alice right now. Alice, what are you doing here? I'm gonna pull one more of the artist, and then maybe one more or two. Let's just kind of close all of this down. I think that would probably be a good idea. We'll put these guys over here because we've already used them. Alice Oracles, you're going back in there. I'm going to touch on the Night of Oysters, I suppose, before we go in. Down, 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 and maybe come out of our rabbit hole. We're on the precipice. You could be going in, you could be coming out. I'm just standing here at the gate. You can decide which direction you want to go in. It doesn't matter. Night of Oysters. Mature and responsible. Reliable, patient, persistent, organized and dependable. Confident, spirituality. This is what we're aiming for, right? I got my red pants on today, too. Red is a good color for protection, especially in the realm of the natives. Grounding into the root. Staying fully embodied and present in the earth while being connected at the same time and having that intensity guide you. What else? How to be mature and responsible during this time of emotional chaos. Ah! That's what it feels like. Let's pick one of these guys. Let's see. It's not difficult. It's a mindset. And you embrace it like truth. And then you just own up to it. And you stop running and hiding and trying to pretend to be something you're not. Just be what you are. Love yourself in that. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. don't fear pain. Pain happens in the brain. We have all these receptors throughout our body, yes, and they're sending signals, and then our brain is interpreting that signal as far as, like, how painful is this? Do you like who you see in your petri dish? You're experimenting on you. This is about you. This is about your growth and your transformation. And you want to try to do something new because everything is kind of collapsing around you and things aren't working the way that they used to work. And life is challenging you to create you that is more serving of the collective conscious. Become your paradigm. Okay, allow yourself to go through this. Take responsibility and take action for the things that you want. Scandal before stardom. Marcel Duchamp. Armut. I did name a dog after this latrine, after this fountain. Armut. It was a woman's name as far as I can recall. So there's just a lot of controversy kind of in there. Scandal before stardom. If there's anything I'm learning about doing things differently and doing things kind of in your own regard that makes people uncomfortable, is that scandalous aspect. People can be so uncertain, and then, like, they're gonna talk shit, you know? They're gonna misinterpret and try to make you fit into that narrative that upholds their ideologies, but that's not true. It's not. Making it look easy is hard. It takes practice, and a lot of practice. Lots and lots and lots of practice. Being uncomfortable and being okay with discomfort, or being okay with pain. I'm in pain like 24/7. Like, I just have things in my body that are chronic pain mode, but I don't think about them. I mean, I think about them. They're there. Like this thing in my shoulder. You hear that popping? Oh, gross, right? Like, emotional discomfort can be painful. No pain, no gain. For the weightlifters out there, right? No pain, no gain. Just look, like, dive into it. Look, get curious. This one says, look into research like you would a crystal ball. Dissect what makes us human. These are all parts of the human experience, and we're eliminating so much of that human experience, or we're trying to eliminate so much of that human experience, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So much so that we try to eliminate others, so that we try to control others, or tell other people what they can and cannot do. Why are you always so? Worry about it. Why are you always so? Worry about that. It's just that opposition and that force of homogeny. Everything wants to homogenize, and I don't want to be homogenized. I don't want to be in this space of I don't want to be in this place anymore. as we wrap this up and get out of this weird, heavy shift in everything day. Hello, big moon and eclipse and all this strange, crazy stuff. Of course she's on here with the unicorn. And we're talking to the unicorn lady. Believe. Strange encounters. Ugh. I was talking to a new friend kind of about this last week. In relation to things about the city, or just these strange things that have happened. And as I look back on my life, and these, some of these are just so strange, odd. Like, no, I don't want to put them in the good or bad or dark or light category. But some of these things that have happened are just so bizarre. And I don't know that these things would be put into books and movies and situations if they weren't part of the human experience. And then getting to talk to a guy over the weekend through, the human repair chair. I'm getting off my track a little bit. I think it just blows me away. Oh, the archetypes, right? That's where he's going with that. Where he's like, there's more archetypes than we can really fathom, or at least more than fucking Jung put down, Jungian archetypes. These things are, I mean, even tarot and oracle cards, these things can be limiting. These are archetypes. Believe is an archetype. These are components of things, but it's not necessarily the full picture, and so much of it we can't convey and embody all at once. We have to experience it in that present time, in that like oddity. And so many people want to vicariously learn things or do things or put it off. Or do you know, I always thought unicorns were fabulous monsters too. I never saw one alive before. Well, now that we've seen each other, said the unicorn, if you'll believe in me, I'll believe in you. Is that a bargain? If you believe in me, I'll believe in you. We're here at the water. You can drink it. It's in front of you. It's right there, but do you believe in it? I think a lot of people are going to go like, no, I don't believe. I don't believe what I see. I believe what I want to see. Which is kind of backwards, no? They must accept the reality of the other's existence, accepting that other people are here in this world too and see things differently than you. Follow the white rabbit. Curiosity meets opportunity. If you want an opportunity, we were talking about that. If you want to be given an opportunity, you have to be curious and you have to go looking. Looking for what? I don't know. It doesn't have to be for what. It just can be looking at the smaller details and fine-tuning your understanding of things. You could be meeting people whose experiences are most unlike those you've had thus far. You may be encountering spirit beings or mystical events that make you wonder at the very nature of reality itself. Once you have experienced the strange reality of people unlike yourself, or of spiritual encounters with guides, visions, or prophetic dreams that leave you marveling at the universe, you can no longer deny the existence of such things. Then your existence will seem just as strange as others, and then you try to convey those things to others, and they're like, what? There's like a a number of things and experiences and strange experiences that I've had, and then trying to convey these things to others. They don't want to believe, but I believe it. Like, these things that I've gone through, a lot of the ideas that I have, or these concepts or these beliefs that I have, are because I've gone through and I've lived these experiences that have shown me these things that are very strange and somewhat unbelievable, yet there they are and they happen. And when I follow those little tracks through the rabbit holes, and we go down and we go into these places and spaces, again, these opportunities are there. Or if life is all but a dream, if science says, consciousness says this is all but a dream, these things that we have are very strange, then why not just let it be real? Because people are going to try and call you strange or different, or like, I guess we can talk about this, because we went into this feeling heavy, and there's energies of sadness and discontent, and we talked a little bit about that aspect of happiness. So let's talk about manage to be glad. Do I have any more here? Learning everything from nothing. This can come from nothing. Absolutely it can. We can materialize something from nothing. Manage to be glad. Create your own happiness regardless of conditions. Okay. There are people who are in the most lavish of spaces, who have these beautiful things, and, you know, whose fucking chair they're sitting on costs more than the vehicle I'm sitting in. And guess what? They're not happy. Look at this little butthole I'm in right now. Like, I'm sitting in a parking lot in this fucking, like, crackety old minivan out in the middle of, like, BFE, which isn't BFE anymore. It's just being overrun by populace. And I couldn't be happier. What made me happy today? This. Getting out of the house, getting a fucking cheap-ass pepperoni pizza, and sitting here and doing this and connecting in this sort of way. Being free, giving myself the space and the permission to be free. Manage to be glad. Glad. Yes, I'm glad I'm here and I'm managing this work. No, it's fine. It's 43, which reduces to a 7 as well. This is going to be the last card, and then I'll wrap it up for today. Please reach out to me for readings. I will be in person, available for sessions tomorrow at the generator, like I said, in the evening. I don't know, it's fine. And these two little creatures she's holding. But again, too, we can bring in these dichotomies in the realm of cognitive dissonance, and we can hold space for two different things at once, being that third unification. I wish I could manage to be glad, the Queen said, only I never can remember the rule. Law is not justice. You must be very happy living in this wood and being glad whenever you like. Your happiness is in your own hands. It is something which can be managed, nurtured, and grown. Acknowledgement that life can be very difficult and challenging, but you are being asked to grow the happiness you long for out of your magical will and desire to feel joy once again. Maybe that is that light that we have within us, comes in that solar plexus and that identity, ego, self-awareness, who we are in this body when spirit meets the earthly being, right? We are energy. We are these salt cell batteries where we can take in energy. We are reflections of light. Yes, we can magnetize these forces, and yes, we can bring these in. Yes, happiness is generated from within. No, you can't buy your happiness. Even in the therapy, I mean, there are people who spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in therapy, and it's not working, it's not fixing their problems because they're finding a greater disconnect. Or they won't take responsibility for their happiness. The easiest way to shift a mood or to shift your feeling is by changing your environment. You can try to talk yourself out of it all you want. But like today, I had to get out of the house. There was no doing this in the house. That was not the correct environment for this. This is what's making it feel right. Change the environment and the thoughts will change. You've got legs, you've got whatever. It's subtle changes. It's not like you have to leave the state or you don't have to leave the country. You don't have to make those sort of major changes. I mean, it's as simple as like walking outside, going inside, going to a library, going somewhere you've never gone before. I wonder what's inside that building. I don't know. Go look. What's stopping you? Who's gonna stop you? Somebody's gonna stop you and say, oh, you can't come in here. Okay, thanks. Thought I'd just take a look. No big deal. Exposure therapy. Anything else? It's not simple. Okay, it's not easy. The Queen is almost berating Alice, imagining her to be happy whenever she wishes, thinking that the business of being happy is simple. It's not. You have to take responsibility for yourself and acknowledge what you're feeling is not the happy feelings. Look at those, explore that, understand why that feeling is there, and then make a change. Take an opportunity to do something. As the Queen, she feels it is not simple for her, but she wants to manage to be glad. Except, as she says, she cannot remember the rule. Is there a rule to happiness? Is there no way to manage to be glad? When this card comes to you, there are two possibilities, just as there are two slightly coves in the painting. The first is that the other assume your life is simpler, easier, and that happiness comes more readily to you. There is this implication that they have it harder and must struggle to be happy. This is not the case at all. Your happiness has been earned. In some ways, you have created it by directing your thoughts and impulses toward the steady creation of happiness. It's practice. It's work. You have to manage it. You have to be aware of it. You know, when it comes, when it goes, why it's there, why it's not there. You have to understand it. It's work. It's a practice. The second possibility is that you must learn how to be happy. Having joy in our lives is not just good fortune, circumstances, or temperament. It comes through the careful management of our thoughts and deeds so that we nurture the possibility of joy and move ever closer to happiness. Do not let others steal your joy or imply that being joyful means you are not as serious, deep, or hardworking as they are. Happiness is often hard-earned. We must find it amidst the most troubling of challenges. Alice has had to do this despite being lost and everything around her being so unpredictable. We too can manage our happiness and defy those who claim it is more difficult for them. We can all do this no matter our lot in this lifetime. Yes, if it takes shit to make bliss, then I feel pretty blissfully, and if life's not beautiful without the pain, then I'd rather never even see beauty again. And so many of these people who just have things handed to them and whatever, the least happy of the people. And those who have struggled and have lost the most and have gone through the most difficulties are often the happiest of people because they have learned that those things don't come from outside them, they come from within them. Yada, yada, yada. Is there anything else here? I don't think so. Maybe not for today. I wish I had a different deck with me, but I don't. Temperance comes up just as far as what to be left with. Temperance, balance that out, right? I'll read it out of here real quick, or just kind of see if there's any quick points, and then I am out of here for today. Maybe. Haigach, the messenger, takes a ham sandwich out of his bag. He wears the costume of an Anglo-Saxon page. He looks into the bag and sees nothing more than hay. He has one foot on land, one in the water, unifying of the forces that work on the body and the mind. A long road winds through the background of the road he has traveled to arrive and must travel in order to leave. Again, we're kind of here. We're not really here and we're not really there. It's this crossroads, and it's this place of kind of coming and going. Maybe that's what presence is, somewhere between past and the future. It's moderation, temperance, what comes with compromise and compatibility. A mixing of things in unanimity. An ability to recognize and analyze. No excessive tendencies, maintaining a good image, possibly being too temperate to the past, present, and future. If there's intolerance in any sort of way, look to it. I don't know. Thanks for showing up in this space. I'm wondering if there's anything else that we want to look at. If you just jumped on, don't worry, I'm going to close this out in a second. You can start it over from the beginning. We are stepping into a greater power that comes from a balance that is an energetic balance. It's beyond the material, it's beyond the emotional too, and it's like a combination of all the things, all that is. There's a discord for sure, there's conflict for sure, things that are making us all very unhappy and miserable, and things that are difficult, as the system is designing it to, for so many ways, to play into this thing of, it's a buy-in, for lack of a better analogy. And so we have to create that sense and that whatever from our internals. When authority says to be quiet, get a loudspeaker. Art must fight for freedom, or the whole world is a prison. Some things are whole only when they shatter. Ooh, maybe that's a good point too, in some of this brokenness and things kind of coming apart and that tower energy, where things aren't what they seem to be, in that, like, woe is whatever. But I know for me, currently in my circumstances, in the situation, I've never felt more whole and complete in myself, while the world outside of me and around me and all those things must look pretty chaotic and interrupted. And like the irony of, I worked so hard to get here. With what payoff? I mean, the payoff is greater than any other payoff. It's being able to pull myself up from those bootstraps at any time, at any given point in time. And you are here. You are rare and free. I will look at you are rare and free, and then I will close this off for the day. Because there's freedom in this one too. Art must fight for freedom, or the whole world is a prison. That creative self-expression, that ability to express yourself, your truth, that freedom to wear the weird red pants. It's fine. That's how I humor myself. That's why I ride a unicorn, because it's just funny. That's how I entertain myself. Law is not justice. No, you can't do that. Well, I can. Social stigmas, if something is stopping you or you're preventing yourself from doing something because of a social stigma, dig deep within yourself and look at all the whys and do something to challenge that social stigma. And then note the feelings, note the difference, note the joy and the freedom. You're rare and free, like little snowflakes. Nobody can experience the world the way you're experiencing the world at any one given point in time. Your lens and perspective is completely unique unto you. And nobody can ever know what that is unless you share that difference. Are there any more people in the garden besides me? Alice said, not choosing to notice Rose's last remark. There's one other flower in the garden that can move about like you, said the rose. I wonder how you do it. As our crow goes flying up overhead. It's a bit windy and chilly today. He's talking to us too, okay. Sometimes people will struggle to understand you. It's okay. And when they have this trouble, they may well try to fit you into one box or another they're already familiar with. I mean, that'll happen. If they don't have a concept for you, they're going to try to squeeze you into one of those, but that doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't make it true. Learn how to detach with compassion, detached compassion, like a Buddhist philosophy towards love, right? When you're not clearly one thing or the other, when you're a trailblazer, a rebel, and a free spirit, you are likely to meet with disapproval. Okay, you're not going to be welcomed in with welcome arms when you break the mold and you decide to do something different. You're going to shake it up a bit and people are going to notice. Okay, and it's going to be uncomfortable and you have to be willing to be uncomfortable with be comfortable with the discomfort. And this is what happens to Alice when the flowers who know just who they are cannot classify her. They assume she is just a rather wild flower who would much rather be like them. No, I don't want to be homogenized and like everyone else. Why would I want to do that? To gain the approval? So people are going to be like, oh my gosh, why are you just so... Come on. You two are something of a rare wildflower. You are a nature child. You are free. You are adventurous, and you just won't have it in any other way. You just won't behave in ways that others think are right. You may wish to live outside the rules and conventions of society and culture. If you're here, probably. That's why people come here, maybe. You are inspired by being your own self and exploring your potential. You are unconventional, surprising, different, and people recognize this. Some will say you are wrong to be free or downplay you as a weed, which the other flowers do to Alice, but others, like the sweet bud, will love you. Embrace your rare qualities. Don't try to fit in. You'll be so frustrated and always quite quietly unhappy. Be brave. By being your own wildflowery self, you'll inspire others, especially those who are younger, to be utterly themselves too. And remember, it's never too late to be a wildflower. Younger in spirit, younger in soul. I don't want to limit that to age, because I think some of the people that could be inspired most are older generations who have been holding on to these limiting beliefs for a very long time. Anything else here? I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna smudge. I'm gonna go dive into my art studio. I'm gonna prepare myself for tomorrow. I'm gonna go be free. Anything else? I mean, yeah. I feel like there's a whole bunch of questions. I have a bunch of questions, but I don't know if those are my questions. They could be your questions. If they are your questions, reach out to me. Okay, no, that's fine. We're gonna end it on pizza. Ah! Can you believe I've eaten almost half of that? I can! Okay, love you, bye.